what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum, and welcome back to Remake and Continuations with my co-host Scott from the Year One Podcast.
Hello. Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Oh, yeah, me too. So full disclosure, I saw we're talking Quarantine in case it wasn't super obvious, which came out in 2008, I think is what you just said.
Yes.
And so I saw this in theaters. I didn't even know Rec was a thing until 5 years ago. So I saw this and I tried. I remember going into Rec the first time because that's what this is an American remake of.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get through it because it's like beat for beat the same movie. And so anyway, I did have to finish it though because I came on with Tasha and talked about Rec on y'all's show on the horror movie reviews, and so I did have to finally get through it. But it's hard because I didn't even know Rec existed.
And I was the same. So I watched Rec, loved Rec. Well, I say loved Rec. Rec was okay.
Yeah.
And then I watched this, and I was like, "This is Rec." I've never seen a remake that is as beat for beat perfect. I think there is a good chunk of this film. If you played them side by side, it would be literally beat for beat, motion for motion, especially the opening bits where they arrive at the reporter arrives at the fire station to do this expose on what the firefighters do in the night. Like that opening 20 minutes is exactly the same.
Dialogue, everything is the exact same.
Yeah. And one of the things we always say about remakes is they need to pay enough homage to the original and do their own thing. This is literally like, if this was an artist, this is someone who's just turned up with some tracing paper and traced it and coloured it in slightly different and gone, look what I did.
Oh. It's so true, but it's so hard because this is the one I saw first, and I loved it. It was so good, and I watched it, and I remember going to see it in theaters and coming home at night and being like, I lived in an apartment building, like I don't know, like it just hit for me. It was like scary and crazy, and I forget her name, but the girl that plays the main character.
Yes.
She's great, and she's from Exorcism of Emily Rose, and I love her. And so I thought this was so good. And then the same thing, I tried to watch Rec and I was like, oh no. But I feel cheated is what it is, because I love this one and that's not going to change. And so now I can't turn my brain around.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with this movie at all. Like the cast are great, the effects are good, the overall atmosphere is good. Like it's a really good horror movie if you've not already seen Rec. If you've already seen Rec, you sit down and watch this and you go, I've seen this, but I swear I watched this in Spanish. Did I watch this in Spanish?
It's so true. And it really is the exact same. And it was... but this is, I loved this though, because like, I thought, when we get the start of her, when she's going to the firehouse and stuff, there's like some humor and some fun things and made it feel very real, got me invested in her and her camera guy and the other, at least one of two of the firefighters. The other one's kind of a douche, but at least one of them. And then we get into the building and, they get to the building and he's like, where do you think the emergency is? And the guy's like in the middle of the road. So there's humor. There's things that got me invested. Doug Jones is in this.
Yes, he is.
And I am like, I worship Doug Jones. Like if I had a religion, that's the religion it would be. And so I love him. And so anything he's in immediately
gets a thumbs up.
No matter how small his part is, because he does not have a very big part in this. Don't care. Love that he's in it.
I'm surprised that because this was quite a success when this came out, this done very well. I'm surprised they've not gone down the route of copy and paste Rec 2, 3.
Yeah, because there's several, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 4 Rec films now, because I think Rec 2 is from my memory, Rec 2 is exactly the same as Rec 1, but filmed from the perspective of someone else.
I thought
or
there was
the third
one.
Yeah, I think that might be 4.
There's one I've seen all the time that's like on a train.
I know one of them is the first movie, but shot from someone else. So I think it's one of the people in the apartment. who's filming what's going on, and you're getting like the scenes where they go storming up the stairs and they go down the corridor. You get that shot like through a crack in a door as they go running past, which again, cool. I like that. But this movie's good. It's a scary movie.
It's very scary. Yeah.
I don't like found footage like this as a general rule.
Like
There are
this.
like this in like we're going to hold the camera dead steady. Oh, it's a monster. You can't see the monster.
Gotcha. I gotcha. I'm with you. Okay.
That's like, I love found footage the same as you do, but
Yeah.
there are some things that found footage movies do that infuriate me. Like they can hold a camera steady while they run up a flight of stairs perfectly still. They're like, I'm going up the stairs, I'm following this person, and you can see everything.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a noise, and this camera all of a sudden becomes red hot and they can't hold it anymore. And it's the floor, it's the ceiling, it's their face, it's their foot. And then they show you like a corner as something flashes past. They're like, oh my God, did you see that? No, because you didn't hold the camera still for more than a second.
Yeah. And that's true because that is not one of my favorite things either. And I think not that the reasoning behind it really matters because it doesn't. It still takes you out of what you're into and like but I think sometimes it's used especially in the more lower budget because this is what I would consider more like mainstream. Like this had a theater release. This
Yeah.
did really well, I so there's some other stuff obviously on the indie side of things that didn't get that chance or whatever where they have to do that because they don't have the budget to make the effects or the scares look good, so that helps. Or that same with that like awful glitch effect which works
It
in
does.
small doses.
A prime example of a movie that glitch effects works in is As Above, So Below.
Totally agree. Yes, perfect
They,
example.
they use it sparingly throughout and it
Mhm.
works. But there are
Yep.
some found footage movies out there who literally find that glitch effect and just hold the button.
And copy paste it onto every scene and it's obnoxious. Stop doing that. I hate
Yeah.
that. It only works if it feels real, and it doesn't feel real if it keeps happening. Which I don't think they don't use the glitch that much in this, but I
No.
know what you're saying. This was definitely like, I meant to say, I will comment on this. The last episode we did, I meant to say this and I didn't get a chance to because we had so much to talk about. I did not find the last movie we covered scary.
No.
But this, like you said, this one definitely was scary. And there were some jump moments. There were some, oh no, like some dread moments. There's some scenes that like, I just like, there's that claustrophobia of being trapped inside a building. And there's like, and the people who are supposed to help are like, no, y'all got to stay in there. Y'all can't come out here. Like,
Yeah, and the second half of this, when things start to turn really bad,
mhm,
that gives you that pit in your stomach feeling, and it holds that pretty much all the way through. And
mhm,
the other thing they do really well in this is justification for the camera being turned on, which
mhm.
is always another problem I have with found
That
footage. It's like,
question is found footage.
why are you filming a conversation between you and your wife in the kitchen that's giving us plot and narrative
While
when
you're
this
put,
has
or my favorite, while you're packing the car, how many found footage movies have you seen where they're like, we need to go put this duffel bag in the car? Make sure you're following me.
yeah. But this one, there is points where you want the camera to be on and they turn it off.
Yeah.
And like the bit where they're sat down in the lobby
Hmm.
and there's a lot going on and she turns the camera off because she's getting I can't remember, someone shouting at her or shouting at the cameraman, and they
Hmm.
turn it off. I'm like, no, I want to know what's happening. And
Yeah.
then when it comes back on, fucking all hell has broken loose and you're like, what's going on? What?
Yeah.
And that use of the camera is great because it gives you the opportunity to fill that gap with what you think happened. And they
Yeah.
explain it later, but it gives you
Right.
that moment where you need to actually think about what you're watching.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the origin of this a little different in this? They don't end up,
Yeah,
it doesn't end up being the exact same thing, right? Because in the end of Rex, spoiler alert, I guess, Rex been out for a long time.
yeah,
But like at the end of Rec, it's a demonic thing, right? It's a demonic possession. And then in
yeah.
this,
Is it? I can't remember if this is a zombie or a monster of some description.
it's
It
like, okay. So what I've always gathered from it, feel free to comment and let us know if we're just like, but from what I remember, early on, Doug Jones, the marvelous Doug Jones, when he is saying, "Oh, it's a type of rabies," I was like, "Oh, I can get on board with that. That makes sense."
Yeah,
He's getting the brain sample, he's doing all these things, and then fast forward, she goes up into the attic with this iconic scene and is like looking over all this stuff. It's like they have brought something back from another place, right? Like
yeah,
okay, so I always took it as like it was more of a virus type
yeah.
thing.
Whereas Wreck is they still do the discovery where they find all the paperwork, but all the paperwork is a priest has been keeping a demon in this room and keeping it contained, and now
Yes.
it's got out.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. So it's a little different, but not that doesn't matter because otherwise it's the exact same. But I was just trying to remember correctly if which one was which and that they were a little bit different because I think they tried to approach the causation a little different in this, but yeah.
I am going to say, looking at our background, that does look like who's the mum of like the Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Who's the mum? That does look
Chris?
like yeah, that looks like Chris being dragged away.
Oh no.
It does. And if you look at the one with the glowing eye, that's quite easily Kim Kardashian dragging her mum to hell.
As a vampire though, because
As
that's
a
what it looks like.
ma-
Look, I do my best to find pictures that work for us to have.
that's the first one. Yeah, the more I look at it, the dodgier it looks.
I do my best, okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not complaining. It's just I can't get over the fact it looks like Kris Jenner's staring at me now.
That is really funny. You're right though, because all you see is this part of her face.
Yeah.
Don't insult the woman.
No, I'm really sorry because you are far more talented than the entire cast of the Kardashians combined.
Yes. But yeah, I thought about that. Once I put it up and it was bigger, I was like, that looks like a vampire. It's not a vampire movie for anybody that's not sure. There's no
No,
vampires. There's just zombies or assumed zombies.
I'd definitely recommend this movie though. If you're
Yeah.
a found footage fan and you've not seen this, I'd definitely give it a watch.
Yeah. This has pretty high production value.
Yeah, it does. In fact, what I would say is find Rec or Quarantine, whichever one is free, and watch it, and you've watched the other one. So whichever one you can get hold of, both of them are good. I would say the production quality on this is better than Rec. I think Rec was made for like $20,000. Rec was made.
Yeah, it definitely had a smaller budget for sure. But I mean, it also came out earlier, and I mean, it's not. This is a big production company that did this one.
Yeah, the production quality of this is better, but it is the same movie just with better cameras and better production value, better costumes. People aren't wearing their own clothes in this. They've actually been given a wardrobe department.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably at least had water bottles on set, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they didn't have to go across the road and buy their own lunch every day.
Exactly. Yeah, I really liked this. I know when the dog, when they talk about the little girl, when the little girl starts, like when they're interviewing the little girl and the mom is like interfering, because this is the same I think as Rec as well, this whole bit with the little girl and
Yeah,
the dog. Is it a dog? Cat?
Yeah, it's a dog.
Dog goes to the vet, problematic and all that. But like the characters in this to me felt pretty real too. Like I felt like, the mom is like panicking and interjecting when she shouldn't because she's like trying to be a part of it because she's like doesn't know what to do with herself and her daughter's probably like her only thing. And so like there's this weird thing where she's like, can I just talk to her like without you? And she's like trying to be nice, but the mom keeps like interfering. And I'm like, I kind of get it though. There's a lot going on. You probably couldn't pull me away from my kid either, but it's little things like that were just like, I really like scenes like that. And then of course we have the angry cop that's like, get your camera out of my face. We got all these like very typical.
I like the reporter as well. She's here to do this, I don't know, this documentary on the firehouse. She does not give a shit about doing a documentary at a firehouse beyond the fact that she'll get to spend some time with some firemen. And I like that because I believe she's been given a crap thing to go and report on and she doesn't want to be there. So she's making the best out of a bad situation. This is crap. I'm filming all night. However, that fireman has got very, very big bulging muscles coming out of that top. And I like it.
Yeah.
It's authentic.
Yeah. Because, and then it's like she obviously isn't taken very seriously yet. Like she isn't given these opportunities that some of the other people are. And she wants to do something more than this. And then, she kind of gets the opportunity, sort of,
Yeah.
by this crazy thing happening. And so then she does this really natural, great progression of like, this BS assignment to like, okay, I'm ready. The neighbors say she lives alone, and then she goes down like like
she
that
goes
felt
from,
natural.
it's very much like the Bruce Almighty transition of doing a story on a kid in Niagara Falls to being the Anchorman. It's that kind of switch, doing these goofy, like light-hearted. Tonight we're going to spend a night with the fireman. Going for that to like, someone has just been decapitated and thrown down the stairs. I'm coming to you live. It's that transition, and it's really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think she did a great job, and I think all of that felt really nice. I mean, I think this is such a good movie. I rate this so high. This is one of my favorites, and it's so unfortunate that I didn't get to see Rec first, because it definitely deserves the credit, because it's
It's
copy
the same
paste.
movie.
But
yeah. How do you score this? I've got to know how you score this.
I would score this probably an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, I score this exactly the same as I score Rec. Funnily enough, it's a 7 for me. It's a good movie.
We're close,
The shaky cam bit is overused in this and Rec, and that annoys me, especially because what they want to show us, I know, is really cool, and it's dark anyway. I can take a bit of bad prosthetics, or I can take a bit of extra dark scene, as long as I see something apart from floor ceiling, floor ceiling, floor ceiling, floor ceiling.
Yeah, it's true. And I think like so there's like two scenes that I always think about that always get to me the most, and it's when the fireman falls down the center. That's ugh. And I know in the first one, or I mean in the first one, in Rec, they didn't know that, right?
Yeah, in Rec. So if
all
you've
those
seen
reactions.
either of these, so in Rec, all of the cast who were sat at the bottom had no idea they were about to throw a man-sized dummy filled with mincemeat and tomato ketchup off of 7 floors above and let it squish next to them.
They didn't know.
The reactions in that are incredible.
Yeah. So that obviously was not the case for this one, but that scene still got me. And then obviously the entire scene in the attic where she's like trying to move around and she can't see, and we can see some stuff, we can hear some stuff, but she doesn't know what's going on. And then that big scene, of course, at the end where she gets drug away.
Yeah, which I think is that scene there.
But not by a vampire. I don't know who that is.
No,
but
and it's not Kris Jenner that gets dragged away either. So somebody tag the Kardashians in the comments for us.
Oh no! I can't unsee it now that you've pointed it out.
Yeah, I'm going to get some. I'm going to do a bit of cut and paste, and I'm going to see if I can get half of that face and half of Kris Jenner's face, and see how close they match up for when we release this.
I think it's going to be really close.
So do I.
I think it's going to be like uncomfortably close.
And then I will just tag away at all the Kardashians and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked this one. I think this is a really good found footage movie. I think it's a better standard than like a Cloverfield.
I
I definitely think so. Was not a fan of Cloverfield. Talking about shaky camera. Good Lord.
Yeah, I like the concept of Cloverfield more than I like the.
Well, yeah, conceptually, but execution wise.
Execution wise, I could probably film Cloverfield now if I just ran outside and waved my camera around and then made some bangs and screams and just gave you context of what was going on as I ran around the town.
Which really sucks because the last shot of Cloverfield is quite good.
Yeah, and had they kept A Quiet Place being a sequel to Cloverfield, that would have been even better, but they didn't. They made it its own thing.
Yep.
And we're getting more of them now. We're getting A Quiet Place Day 1 and A Quiet Place 3 both coming next year.
Yeah, I liked those. I, however, didn't know that it's not actually an original concept. It's a book.
Yeah.
And then they did another movie with the guy that played Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream, which is such a weird. I never remember anything else he's in. What was? Oh, he's the dad in Easy A.
Right. Okay.
You know who I'm talking about? The real
Yeah.
funny
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
So I think it's him. It may not be him. I don't know. You know, that's not my strong suit. Anyway, there's a movie called The Silence. It's on Netflix. It is the film adaptation of a book, and it is the same story as Quiet Place. So a little frustrating when I learned that because I was like, God, I thought this was like so original. But that's okay.
Is the one that's on Netflix as much of a copy and paste of A Quiet Place as this is a copy and paste of Wreck?
No, this sets the bar for copy and pasting.
Okay. Okay.
No, no, I would say, yeah. You know, it's so funny you said that. That was one of our quiz questions on our found footage live that we did was what movie, what was it? What found footage movie was A Quiet Place originally supposed to be a sequel to? And nobody knew it. Somebody finally randomly guessed it.
I know
But
it.
of course you would know that. Oh, anyway. All right. Well, I don't know that I have too much more to add. I do really like this movie. I was go watch one of them. Like Scott said, doesn't matter which one, just pick one.
Yeah, pick one. You'll have a good time with it. What are we doing next? I don't even know what we're doing next. Next is Christmas, is it not? I know what we're doing next. It's become a tradition. At least this is the last one.
Thank fucking God. I can't do it anymore. I tried to get out of this and you were like, no, no.
No, we said last year we were going to do it, so we kind of.
I know. Yeah, and then we also have a really fun Christmas first watch for me for your channel too.
Yes.
That is that one's going to be really fun. And then what else? So this is November. So in November we'll have your first watch of
Dracula. Yeah, and then for December we've got Anna versus the Apocalypse for my channel. And do you want to say what we're doing here?
No, I'm trying not to manifest it. I don't want it to become a reality. No, we're going to cover was it 2019 Black Christmas?
Yeah.
There may be alcohol involved in that one because I can do it sober.
We'll set that recording for a Saturday night where we can sit and get smashed to get through it.
We'll take a shot to start the episode.
Yeah.
Oh God. So a lot of fun things coming this way. If you liked last year's episode of the other Black Christmas, whatever year that one came out. Anyway, right. Well, I think that's all we have for this episode of quarantine. Last episode of quarantine. I'm going to be so fun when we record our next things. What is the name of the show? Remakes and continuations.
Remakes and continuations.
And continuations, yeah, because I feel like we have to tack that on now.
Yeah.
Because we've covered several continuations.
We need to change the logo as well and just, I don't know, maybe put a single line through remakes and just put and continuations.
Yeah, I'll have to readjust our branding for this one. Yeah, so anyway, well, that wraps up this episode of Remakes and Continuations. Until next time, thanks so much for hanging out with us. There's going to be a link to the playlist. Talk today. Playlist for the series that we're doing on Scott's channel. I now know how to add a playlist instead of just individual videos. So I just put the playlist. So you can go see what we're doing over there.
Okay, you need to tell me how to do that because I can't do that.
I just learned it was an accident. But I'll tell you how. So make sure you're going and watching this too.
You tried to add a video and accidentally added a playlist.
I was like, wait, why does it say how many episodes there are? Oh my God, it's the playlist. It was a good thing to mess up on, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good weekend, and we will see you in the next one.
See you later.